You want a 3 bedroom? And I'm like, yeah, I need a 3 bedroom.
Hmm.
And my landlord, he gives me a fucking house that's big enough to convert into a 5 or 6 bedroom. I'm like, 1,500 and you can convert it into a 6 bedroom? I can't pass that up. Two full
Yeah,
baths?
no, yeah, not at all. Yeah, you got to run with that.
So what's up, YouTube? It's your boy Skinny Moose, and I brought on the hardcore hoochie daddy, the violent breed JB Anderson today.
That's me.
And let's hop right into it. So what made you become a wrestler?
I've always wanted to be a pro wrestler. I didn't tackle it when I was younger. I started playing music instead, just because where I grew up in Maryland, there really wasn't a lot of options for getting trained, and the information really wasn't out there like it is nowadays. Then the pandemic happened, and I was bored as shit at home, so I figured I'd finally take the dive and start doing it. So I've only been doing it for like 3 years now. Like January 15th was like my 3 year wrestleversary, and I was training for like a year and a half before that.
So you found the love for music. Is that where like the guitar comes from? The electric guitar you used to bring out, or the guitar?
Yeah, so that's actually my first guitar I ever bought. I've been using that as a weapon sometimes. I bought that in 2003 or 2002, I think. So it's been with me for a while. The mechanics on the inside are just all fucked up, and I never felt like getting it fixed. So I was like,
I understand
I'll
that.
do something with it. So I ended up just starting to bring it out and use it as a weapon.
So what type of music did you play, or do you play?
I play like hardcore, death metal, thrash metal,
Fuck
um,
yeah.
yeah, hardcore punk, like power violence, grindcore. Like I'm kind of all over the place. I've been in like a shitload of bands over the last like 20 years.
Fuck yeah. So where do we find where if somebody wants to look you up and like listen to your music, because I don't like Spotify or YouTube or
Some of it's on Spotify, a lot of it's on Bandcamp. There's a link on like if you go to any of my socials, there's a link tree, and if you go down the link tree, like all my bands are listed in there.
all right, hell yeah, I'm gonna have to check it out. So
Yeah.
I know you have a lot of tattoos.
Hmm.
Do you have a favorite one or one that means the most to you?
Yeah, I got a couple that are my favorite, but my favorite one is I got one on my wrist. I don't know if I can get that in there or not, but it just says Ma. It's a tattoo I got from my mom that's on my wrist. That one is one of my favorites. Probably means the most to me. Um, when my third of my first three group of dogs die, I'm getting a three-headed Cerberus tattoo of all three of my boys,
Oh,
but I haven't. It's just basically gonna be like the body of Cerberus, but all them looking like adorable. I just haven't thought of. I'm not doing it until my third boy Scout passes, which will be never because he's gonna live forever. But whenever that
I
happens,
understand that.
yeah, whenever that happens, that's gonna be my next big tattoo.
So big mama's boy, I feel that. I feel that. I'm a
Hell,
big
hell
mama's
yeah,
boy too.
yeah.
Yeah,
I'm.
you know that. But us Southern boys. Well, for me, it's you don't talk shit about mama, and you don't talk shit about granny, and you don't talk shit about the wife. Them
Yeah,
three are my them four are the closest women to me. You talk
facts.
shit about my aunts, whatever, but you come after my mama, I'm gonna fuck you up. I'm
Yeah,
Big Mama's boy.
I'm a big
I,
mama's
I
boy
run to
too.
mama for everything.
Hell yeah,
I run to
hell
my
yeah.
mama for everything, and my wife's like, "Why do you always go to your mama?" I'm like, "One day I'm not gonna have mama to run to, so I might as well run to her while I got the chance."
That's
Every
facts.
time
Yeah.
I do, I go to my mom. Like I'm a big mama's boy. Um, I actually had a rough patch with my mom when I was younger, and we got separated and stuff. But now
Hmm.
that I'm back with her, she knows every fucking thing. And I've been lost my cigarettes. I'll be son of a bitch. Great.
Oh, that's good. You guys reconnected, man.
um, yeah. She a lot of the guys she was with tried to keep me away from her.
Oh shit.
And as I grew up, I looked at one of her exes and I said, "You try to keep me away from my mom again, I'll fucking kill you." And my stepdad came in the picture, and he was like, "Well, I'm not trying to keep you away from your mom." He was like, "You can come and live with us if you want, and I'll
Hmm.
claim you as my own child." And I was like, "Okay, you know." And I lived with him, and now he's like my actual biological father. Since my biological father has nothing to do with me, he's just a sperm donor in my book.
Yeah, man. I mean,
Like
family finds a weird way to figure itself out.
he has
Yeah.
other kids, and I'm the oldest, and he don't even claim me. And I'm like, okay, motherfucker, okay, we'll play that game.
Yeah.
But when you die, and I'm the one that has to take care of you, I'm gonna just throw you off somewhere because I don't want you. I'll
Yeah, man.
cremate your ass, and then I'll break your arm because I don't want you.
Goddamn.
Um, so who would you say is some of the hardest hitters in the game right now?
Hardest hitters like that I've wrestled, or just people that like I've watched?
Like that you've wrestled?
Uh, Remington Roar has the hardest right punch I've ever taken. Um, Bam also pretty tough. Bam Sullivan.
Clench
Uh,
your nuts.
yeah, right. Matt Tremont also.
Sure, you know, and I had a feeling you was going to say Tremont.
Yeah. Those are my top three of people that have rocked me pretty good,
Hey,
in a good way,
Akira,
not a bad way.
Akira has a good hit, but he's also into like all that types of martial arts and shit. So,
Oh
you
yeah,
know, it's gonna hurt.
I'm just
I
into bar
noticed that
fights.
you bar fights. I respect
Yeah.
that. I respect that. A lot of workers are into that.
Mhm.
I noticed that you blew up really fast. Did you think you was gonna like blow up as fast as you did when you first started?
Absolutely not. Where when I first started training, I was told no one would ever spend money to watch me wrestle. So I thought I had no idea that I even would get to a point where people even like A, knew my name or gave a shit about me. So the reception I've got over the past like 6 months has been like wild as fuck. Like I'm very humbled by the whole thing. I just try
How
to.
the fuck
Hmm?
do you? How the hell do you look at a worker and tell him that like he's still in training? That's just fucked up, bro.
It was over me like being really slow at arm drags. That's all it was. And that was like the feedback I got on the practice match I had, and I was like, all right, cool. I guess I'll try better, which I did, you know. It was motivation to keep trying and keep doing shit. But yeah, man, no, it's been a really cool, humbling experience, and like I really think since like the hardcore hoochie daddy thing started, that's when like it started taking off, and I was like, hey man, I bleed like a fucking pig, so maybe that'll help too. So like it's just a matter of like going out, having fun, being like 100% me, and like just down to do crazy shit, and also show that I can wrestle too.
So, out of the question, but me and my partner done a YouTube video the other night on you and Jess Moss, the snack pack,
Oh yeah.
and I don't know if you're gonna laugh at it, but I was like, I looked at my buddy and I was like, Squirrel, which one's snack and which one's pack here?
I think.
I love your work.
Oh
I
yeah,
paid a
dude.
lot of attention to you.
Thanks, man. Thanks.
I
Yeah,
looked at
no,
my
she.
wife the other day, and it was the takeoff, and I was like, if I don't watch any other match live, at least let me watch JB Anderson. And she's like, you're really, over on JB, and I'm like, he's the hardcore hoochie daddy. She's like, you and your fucking wrestling.
It's
So,
like that name definitely
go ahead.
stuck. I don't know why, but it there was the way it happened was actually an accident. Cause when I was wearing the overalls like earlier
Yeah.
in last year, man, I cut them too fucking short and didn't realize it until I put them on, and they were short, man, like short. And Jess had said that I had looked like a hoochie daddy, so this all started with her. And she just started laughing about it, and I was like, all right, whatever. Then I went out and started wrestling, and people were like, yo, those shorts are really short. And then a hoochie daddy chant started, and then I come to the back, and Chrissy grabs me, and she's like, hardcore fucking hoochie daddy, that's who you are now. And I'm like, all right, cool. Like when the fans
It's like,
start
yeah.
coming up with it, then it's got to stick. So I blame the fans.
Hey,
Hey,
JB, you are awesome.
appreciate it, Nick. Thank you.
So have you ever messed up one of your tattoos doing a death match?
Yes. One of the snakes on my neck here, or my trap,
Mhm.
a chunk of the tongue's gone because of a light tube piece that got stuck in me when me and Anthrax were fighting at the shelter for WHW. Um
That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't think that like it got me that deep, but like so we're going back and forth. You can watch I think most of the highlights I got on YouTube, and I think your was it the WHW site through Smashmaster has the whole show. But end of the match, me and him are just going blow for blow for tubes, and I happen to like turn and I look down and I see there's a tube sticking out of my like a little shard sticking out of my shoulder, and I'm like,
Oh
well,
shit.
that sucks. So I yoinked it out, grabbed another tube, and went. And I was just fucking. It was like just leaking. And I was like, all right, well, that's fine. It'll close. You get to the back, and then it starts healing up over the course of a couple days, and it just keeps like it's one of those like they call it like a pussy wound, right? So it just keeps going like this every
Yeah,
time I move my arm. So like literally every single time I move my arm at work or I'm moving it like training or working out, it just keeps opening. So the skin couldn't get close enough to close, and it just ended up taking a chunk of the fucking tongue out of my snake.
that's fucking crazy.
Yeah, it took a little out of Oli, so I called the snakes Oli and Arn.
So, who was your trainers?
So I kind of had a mixed bag of trainers. Like I originally started training in Maryland, um, bounced around there for a little bit, and then I went and started training with some people out in Delaware, and then I ended up over in H2O. So I think like the most I have learned and been able to like really like cultivate, whoops, about how to like do what I do and do it well. I feel like I learned mostly through like Matt and then also like Neil Diamond Cutter kind of like being a mentor to me also. So like I've learned a lot through them.
I've heard a lot of good things about both of them. I'd love to interview Tremont sometime or another if I can ever get him on.
Yeah, man, just hit them
Um,
up.
what's your worst injury or your major one? I know
I
you
had
broke
one.
your arm before you started or messed up your arm way before you started, and you fuck, I can't remember, but it was in Bloodstorm, and you told him once your arm gets healed, you was gonna fight him.
Yeah, the arm break was weird because I didn't know it was broken. I actually figured it out the next day when I went to my shoot job and worked 10 hours
Oh
and was
shit!
like, something's wrong with my hand and I don't know what it is. Um, but the what is it? When I was in training, I actually snapped my ankle and had to get ankle surgery about a year into
Oh
training.
fuck!
It was legit a year to the day I started. Like I started training October 6th of 2020 and I broke my ankle October 6th of 2021. So it was like dead set on the year. So like when October 6th rolls around, I don't try to do anything. I'm like I'm not wrestling nobody. That's a bad omen day to me.
I don't.
Um but the yeah, I was it was a dumb situation. The short end of it was the school I was training at, we had about 50 fucking canvases. We were not supposed to have a show canvas on the ring we were using, so we were going to go grab one of our practice ones. Kept trying to find him. Head trainer was pissed off that it took too long to get them together. So he was like, whatever next one y'all get is the one y'all are using for the day. Well, the one we found had like 80% duct tape on it. So it was mostly duct tape, not much canvas, right? So there's holes in it, there's all this other shit, and just was like, y'all gotta go. So we're doing drills on this thing. We're doing like drop down leapfrog drills. Like we're all sweating, hitting the thing, sliding like motherfuckers because sweat's on top of this fucking duct tape, and you don't have good grip or stability, right? In wrestling shoes.
Yeah.
So then we were done with that, and then immediately we were done with that, we had to go to a fucking bump and feed drill where we're all taking lines and bumping like 3 times a piece. So I'm going, and when I go to hit the shit, I go to take my back bump, and a piece of the canvas was exposed. My foot goes under the canvas. So my foot goes here, canvas here. I get fucking clotheslined. I go to take my fucking bump. My leg doesn't go with me. I just go back, and my ankle just goes like that and snaps.
Oh
Um,
fuck!
yeah, I was completely like blindsided by it. I was like, "Oh, what the shit?" I heard like 3 pops, but I've never broken a bone before, so I didn't know it was broken. And I was like, "Well, shit! Like, I guess I gotta fucking roll out for a little bit." So I'm sitting out there. I hang out for the rest of the night because I can't walk on it really. I just thought I twisted it. Get in my car. I drive home with a broken ankle. And I'm
Damn.
like, yeah, because it's my right foot. So like I'm gas pedal, like, brake, all that shit with a broken ankle driving an hour and a half home. Then I get home, my wife's like, hey, how bad does your foot feel? And I was like, I don't know, like it might still be adrenaline, I'm not sure. But the next day it was like 2 sizes bigger than it should have been. Went and got x-rays. They were like, yeah, like the part of the ankle bone that attaches to the leg is like gone, so you need surgery to like even walk again, let alone wrestle again. And I'm like, oh fuck, all right. So I got a plate in each side of my ankle, bunch of screws, and some bands. So that's my worst injury so
Holy
far.
shit.
Yeah. And that was before I even got out the gate. And, I broke my ankle, got surgery, and I was back 3 months later,
Give me
just
one
doing my
second. Let me
thing.
go grab my computer charger so it
For
don't die
sure.
on you.
All good. Oh, thanks for the shout out, J Rebel.
Sorry about that, yo.
Oh, you're all good, man.
I had to run. I had to run and get a charger.
All good.
What are some promotions that you would like to work for or
Ones I'd
wrestle
like.
for?
Well, I mean, a lot of us want to, eventually end up in GCW. I think that's the goal for a lot of people. Um, and in the states, that's somewhere I'd like to end up. ICW, no holds barred. I'd like to wrestle in the chains at least once. Um, I really want to go overseas to Japan and wrestle for BJW. I'd like to go down with Joel and wrestle in Australia with DMDU. Like those are like the big goal ones. Um, I guess kind of like on the more local circuit, I'd like to wrestle for like RPW, Horror
I was
Slam.
about to say OPW.
Yeah, RPW's sick. Like they're doing some cool stuff. Stuff with Seven, Circle Six, No Fear. Like those guys. Like I feel like they all kind of fit in my like they're within my wheelhouse of like just me as a person. I think I would vibe well in those promotions. Those are some
I
ones that
mean,
I'm
I don't
thinking
know.
of.
I know you wrestled for X Brand, and I normally ask that question:
Hmm.
would you wrestle for X Brand? I don't know if it's your cup of tea or not, but I know Tremont's ran through Deep South. If you'd try to run it in Deep South for IWA Deep South.
I mean, if they hit me up, I'd look into it for sure. Like I wrestle for IWA Vintage Pro up here in Jersey, so that's like the closest I've gotten to IWA. But like, yeah, I'd go down there if they hit me up.
Kevin gets a bad name, and Chondo's always shitting on him. But I was out at Cup, and I honestly didn't see no bad particular things, and like I stayed by Kevin the whole entire time, and we had Sakuda over, and he treated
I
all
saw
his
that.
boys fair. He treated all the boys fairly. As far as pay go, I don't know, but um, he's had Masada and shit. So I was like, yeah, I've never heard anything about complaints about pay. Chondo goes on about the fucking Holocaust shit, and I'm like, you know, I'm not even gonna hit that one. I'm not even gonna hit that one.
Yeah, the
Like,
as far as like cups go, like I would at least like to do a Carnage Cup once, just because like of the history of like it in American Deathmatch. Like I'd like to hit that one time, and I like to hit like TOD one time. Like there's a couple of like the big American based tournaments I would at least like to participate in.
I mean, I was talking to another wrestler, and he was like, well, I think Carnage Cups, if you're going to be a big time wrestler, you got to run through Carnage Cup at least once
That's
to
how I
get your
feel.
name out there. Because, like, Kevin's worked everybody in Carnage Cup, just about all the
Hmm.
older guys. So I
Yeah,
can't complain. Um, and as far as fuck, dude, I mean, I enjoyed it out there. You and Little Sicko would kill it, dude. So,
I wouldn't mind working Sicko one of these days, if our
oh,
paths
that'd be
cross.
fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Um, so what is it like facing Matt Tremont or the Killdozer?
It was like I was definitely very intimidated at the idea of it when it first got thrown to me, because I was like, yo, like this is like one of my fucking heroes. Like I've grown up watching this guy, and like we've become like pretty like pretty close over the past like year. So it was just gonna be cool to just work like a friend of mine, let alone like a fucking deathmatch legend like Matt. Um, but it was honestly like the easiest match I've ever had, and it was just so chill. It was so cool.
Really?
Yeah, and like the uh like just kind of that being like my first death match. Like I've never had one before. That was my first one. So Matt broke me in. He thought I was ready to do it, and like now that I know like a little bit more, and that I've like gotten a little bit more seasoned, like I only got 25 death matches under my belt. And all of them except for 3 were all last year. So like I'm trying to like step it up and do more shit. And now that I kind of feel like a little bit more like confident with what I'm doing and like a little more creative, I want to like have like a full blown fucking death match with like Bulldozer Matt Tremont. Um,
I,
like I want the smoke.
I want to meet Tremont, but he's like, well, I'm not that. One of his documentaries or his interviews, he's like, I'm not really that scary. I don't even sit down and watch horror movies, and I'm like, to meet you though, and what you've done for the business and shit, I'm like, you scare me shitless.
The horror movie thing surprised me too because I started talking about horror movies with him and he was like, "Yeah, I don't really watch them," and I'm like, "Really?"
That's
Like, so I get it.
crazy
I get
though.
it. Yeah. Um,
He's
be-
like, he's like, I'm one of the nicest people that you'll ever meet in your life, and I'm like,
he's
but
not
you get in
wrong.
that ring and you turn into a monster.
Yeah, no, he's definitely like one of the in wrestling and in life in general, like one of the most genuine people I've met, like hands down.
Dude, his
Yeah.
scar tissue though, how would you go about like fucking sticking skewers into him or something? Well, they're banned in the H2O arena, but
Mhm.
like, how would you go about sticking like gussets and shit onto him and making him stick? Like with all that scar tissue built up.
I mean, I headbutted one into his head pretty fucking hard and got it to stick. He's
Yeah, I mean that's true.
he repaid the favor. He got it in
Yeah,
me
that's
pretty
one of my
good too.
questions was what was it like taking a gusset, especially by Tremont? Because, if I'm not mistaken, that was your first time taking a gusset,
First time,
wasn't it?
so that match was first gusset, first time bleeding in a match.
Oh
Like
shit,
first time taking barbed wire. Like it was my first time for a lot of shit. And the gusset was like the most intense, like quick feeling I've ever felt in my life. Where I was just kind of like shit, and it sucked. Like I'm not gonna fucking sugarcoat it. That motherfucker sucked. But like when it was kind of like the pain started resonating, I was like trying to look at the ground, and I was like, I really hope I'm bleeding because if I'm not, that's gonna suck to do twice. And then I just looked down, and then I started feeling all the hot and smelling, copper and iron and shit, and I'm like, oh no, I'm going. And then it just kept going, and I couldn't see, and it was my first time like bleeding, so I didn't know like how much I was bleeding. And by the time I saw the pictures, man, I was like, holy shit! It was like full crimson, like this side of me, and
yeah, it was
it was
fucking.
intense. Yeah, it was dope.
So some of the fans and some of the workers that I'm close to is like, well, you done took a light tube, you've done burnt yourself. I don't know if you've seen, but I burnt my whole side.
Yeah,
Um,
I saw that.
and a lot of people's like, well, you could take paint, take a gusset. And I'm like, you instantly get color from a gusset plate. I don't know about little small prickly things in my fucking arm. And they're
Yeah.
like, well, take it in the arm. And I'm like, I could take pain. I have a high pain tolerance, but
Hmm.
what these fucking wrestlers do is not for my cup of tea. I mean,
Yeah.
like, I'll sit on the, guardrail. I'll interview y'all.
Hmm.
I don't know if you could see, I have a permanent dent, and I've mentioned that multiple times. I got hit in the head with an aluminum baseball bat when I was younger, and I dented,
Whoo! Damn.
and it caused a permanent scar.
Yeah.
And
No, I imagine.
so
I
now,
got a lump on the back of my head from
oh
smacking my
shit,
melon on the back of some concrete steps. When I was in my 20s, I tried sliding down a handrail while I was like fucking shit hammered wasted. And while I was going for the slide, someone yelled my name, threw off my balance. I went ass over tea kettle and just like rolled down 20 steps and had this like avocado
damn.
shaped lump on the back of my skull. I was fine.
and
Surprisingly, no concussion, but like I just split the back of my head open.
it don't help that I already have head trauma from when I was younger, trying to play Superman, jumping off the back of the couch, hitting the concrete floor.
Yeah,
I was about 7 years old. I had an electric scooter. I went down a hill, got a concussion, busted my head open. The doctor looked at me and they're like, "Well, what do you want to do as a sport?" I'm like, "Wrestle." And he's like, "Yeah, be within reason." And then I went to another
yeah,
doctor. She's like, another primary. She's like, "Yeah, you ain't ever gonna wrestle, honey." So I'm thinking about getting another opinion, but like my head, yeah, too many hard hits to the head would instantly kill me. So I'm like, fuck it,
yeah.
I'll just do a podcast.
Hey man, you can still be involved and not be in the ring. Like that's kind of the
I'm
one
thinking
of the
about trying to be a ref.
that would be dope too. And I think that's something that a lot of people like kind of don't like really take in when it comes to wrestling. Is there's like if you want to be a part of the culture and you want to be a part of the like fucking show, there's so many fucking things you can do. It doesn't just have to be wrestling. Because at one point, I didn't think I was going to be good at the wrestling side of this, but I still wanted to be involved in the business in some way or another. And then it was kind of getting out of the circuit I was in Maryland and kind of going other places and learning from different people where I was like, no, I can actually do the wrestling part. Like, I just need to be confident and like figure it out.
Hell yeah. So is there anyone that you would personally like to call up for a match?
Um, ooh, um, like people that I would definitely like to wrestle. Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, I mean, all the legends. Obviously, I would love to have like a one-on-one with like Pondo, Masada. Like, I was able to share the ring with Dale Patricks in a multi-man, but I would love to wrestle
Oh
Dale
yeah.
one-on-one. Me and Redacted are actually homies before we both started wrestling.
Oh
Um,
shit.
yeah, we go back from like the music scene in like the New York to like New Jersey area. Um, but like me and him have wanted to wrestle each other for like a hot minute. So like whenever that happens, me and Hardcore have been wanting to wrestle each other for a hot minute. It's just a
Hardcore
matter of
hillbilly or
uh,
hardcore from Total Fucking Chaos?
Hardcore from Total Fucking Chaos.
Oh, that'd
Yeah,
be good as
yeah.
fuck.
We had two companies that were down to do it, and the first one, it was ECH up in Connecticut, and then they folded, so that wasn't gonna happen, unfortunately. Then I think we
Yeah.
had X Brand who were interested in doing it, but then Hardcore broke his arm, so it was like
Oh yeah. Thanks for trying
the
though.
universe doesn't want this match to happen, but fuck the universe. Me and Hardcore are gonna wrestle each other at some point.
I gotta go with. I gotta see that. I can't wait until that fucking shit drops,
Yeah,
dude.
that's gonna be a solid
You,
one. Like all the guys in TFC, I would love to fucking wrestle at some point.
I'd
Like
like to
that
see you and
Kyle.
Slack.
Yeah, dude. Me, I would love to wrestle Schlack. Like I would
I
love to get
don't know
violent
if
and
it would
nasty.
happen, but you
Same,
and Danny DeMano.
man. That thing that's
I,
come up a couple times, and like with
really?
because me and Hammer, not it's not gonna happen, but like me and Hammer have like talked about it, and like I've been like, yeah, you know what, like. I'll fight Danny one of these days. If fighting Danny is like what I gotta do to get into ICW, like I'll go one on one with the Squat God.
Yeah, going on with him or fuck. I don't even know. I guess MM3 is the new gatekeeper because we had Akira for the longest, but I guess MM3 is the new gatekeeper over there.
I
So
I'd put MM3 up there, yeah. Like, I mean, him and Tommy, I would like to wrestle them. Like, dude, my list of wants is huge. Like, a big one for me that like I do want to do like soon if I can is wrestle the Bev, because like I love watching Bev's
Patty
fucking matches.
fucking Bev.
Yeah, we both
I,
have.
I have to have you and Takeda from Japan.
Oh,
I
dude,
gotta get
that
you
would be
two.
sick.
You two. Fuck.
Yeah,
Yes, you and Takeda would kill it.
I would love to do that too. Like, there's like I said, man, I'm still fresh, so I'm still like I'm you know getting my ground, getting my bearings. Like I know I just need to like kind of get my name value up, and I just need to do some shit to like you know get to that next level so that I have the opportunities to start wrestling some of like the bigger names in the game, so I can start learning more and doing more in the deathmatch scene. That's my goal for 2025.
Uh, I'm pretty sure that a lot of workers, a lot of promotions will book you. After this interview, I can send you over Kevin's Facebook if you're trying to work for him. He has a show coming up. I don't know when. He'll probably have you do one of his regular shows, and then if he likes your work, he'll send you into Carnage Cup. So can't really complain. I've always been a fan of Deep South, and I've asked all of my boys that I've ever interviewed, would you ever work for Deep South? And
Mhm.
some say yeah, and some say no. But like I said, I'll send you his information and see if you can get in. Because, dude, you'd rouse the fucking ranks. They would love you out at Cup.
I've only wrestled down in the South for TWE, and like
That's a good promotion.
the crowd there is so fucking awesome, man. Like I like Southern wrestling. Like being in Maryland, I'm like right on the fucking line, right? So like,
Yeah.
we're too north for the South, but too south for the North. Know what I mean? So like we're in our own little pocket. But like Southern wrestling is like fucking rad. Like, you know, the crowd's hot for whatever. It's a different style, different pace. Like I kind of prefer it to being up north, but like I know how to work both. So like if I go up north, I know what to do. If I go down south, I know what to do. I haven't been out to California yet, so I'm still trying to figure out like when I get out that way, what does that crowd look like? What does that crowd kind of want, and how to like
I
work my
mean,
style, you know?
I, where I'm at, we don't have really shit thanks to fucking Ian Rotten and you. That I'm in Kentucky, so
Yeah,
if that tells you any fucking thing, fuck the state.
yeah. Don't
But
you have a
yeah, I'd
pretty
love to
like
see you.
strict like sports commission down there in Kentucky?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
okay, so if NWA comes down here, like the little NWA territory thing,
Mm-hmm.
to wrestle. If say like me and you're wrestling and you bust me in the nose and I start bleeding, it has to stop instantly, like
Mm,
completely instantly, and there's no blood, so you'd have to cover my face when you pin me,
yeah.
or the promoter's going to get a hell of a fine, and so would you. And
Yeah,
I'm like,
in Maryland it's like that too. Like we although they give us 30 seconds. If there's blood, the match has to end within 30 seconds.
it has
Um
to, and Jim Cornette covered it. It has to end like in a snap of a finger, or it's over. You're in
yeah.
trouble. And I'm like, thank you, Ian Rotten. Thank you, Jim Cornette, because Jim, even though Ian Rotten's the one that fucked us, Jim Cornette's the one that went to the athletic commission,
And push for
and
it. Yeah.
so I'm like, it's both of their faults here. They're both at fault.
Yeah.
Ian Rotten should have never done what he done, even though it was a good promotion. I can't shit on Mid South, but I will shit on Ian Rotten.
I mean Mid South has
I know
so
that's weird.
many good fucking like matches in their history. That's the thing. It's like there's so much rich American deathmatch history in Mid South, and like the tournaments too. Like it's hard to shit on the company, but like I get it with Ian.
So no razor wire and explosives in the ring.
I mean, I'm not opposed. Razor wire is a tough one, man. I'll take barbed
I
wire
hope
any day. Like I get barbed wire stuck in me like literally every time I use it. Um, razor wire though, boy howdy. Right match, right
I
person.
mean, they use razor wire a lot at Carnage Cup, and I think that's the only promotion that does.
Yeah, I think so.
And I've seen some shit with razor wire.
Yeah.
With I actually got caught on razor wire when I was younger because I was going to a
Mhm.
baseball field, and um, they had razor wire on the fence, but you can go, get in it. And I climbed maybe in a dumbass that I am, I thought I could climb on it, and I
Mhm.
cut my foot, and it tore
Oh
my
shit.
shoe to hell at that. And
Yeah.
I hollered for my mom because she was like right across the street.
Mhm.
Well, when she come running out, she asked what happened, and you could just see the blood on the razor wire. And I'm like, she's like, well, let's go home. And, like, I wasn't one about hospitals. I'm still not. So I just took care of it the best way I could. And
Yeah.
I cut my knee open and got 3 stitches. And my dad's like, you're going to the hospital. And it's a funny story.
Mhm.
So I was using hedge trimmers where my dad used to work. Maybe and me thinking I could, put my leg up to elevate it. Well, when I come down with the hedge trimmer blades, I almost cut my neck off, but it
Oh
got
shit.
my leg. It got my leg, and it, tore my pants. So I was like, that ain't nothing, I got
Mhm.
on extra layers or whatever. So whatever, fine, cool. well, I felt something warm running down my leg. I'm like, the
Yeah, when
fuck
you
is
feel
this?
that
So
warm.
I took my 2 fingers. That's what I could stick in it. And I'm like, oh shit. So I
Yeah.
go over to a childhood friend of mine. He's older than me, but like he's like an uncle. And like, yo, Uncle Scooby, I'm bleeding. He goes, huh? I said, I'm bleeding. Look. He goes, oh shit, let me get your dad. So they lay me on the fucking concrete floor or the concrete ground where the trailers come in. Because one side was a mechanic shop and the other side was where they fix trailers. And I'm laying there looking up at the sky. My dad's like, yep, they're my pants. Whoosh, you're going to the hospital.
Oh shit.
No, I'm not.
Yeah.
No, I'm not. He goes, yes, you are. And right there, I tried arguing with him and I just got sick all over the place.
Oh
They load
man.
me up
Yeah.
in the car and my dad starts driving off. I'm like, pull over, pull over. He's like, why? I'm like, eh. He's like,
Oh
oh, yeah, you're
man.
going to the hospital.
Yeah, you
So
were in
they call
shock,
my
dude.
mom and my wife. And
Hmm.
that my dad's explained it to my mom, and she's like, what happened? And he explained it to her. So we go to the scrapyard to get some money to get the gas, and my dad's buddies want to stand there and talk, and he's like, dude, I gotta get my son to the hospital. He sliced his knee open.
Hmm.
And this motherfucker looked at him, he goes, ah, he'll be fine. I've had worse. My dad looked at him, he said, you want to see worse? I'll fucking hit you right here, right now. My dad, he pissed my dad off. So my dad was going to hit him with the car.
Right.
And he said, you better fucking move, Tommy, or I'm going to run you over. He's like, all he is your stepson. My dad gets out of the car and he said, you want to say that again to my fucking face?
Oh
He
damn.
said, I've been in this boy's life for almost, he's been there since I was 10, but
Hmm.
he became my stepdad when I was 16. So he's like, I've been in this boy's life longer than you would think. He's like, well, come and say it to my face now. He's like, well, I was only playing. He was like, we don't play about my kids.
Yeah, no, you don't play about kids.
Yeah, it wasn't really bad getting stitches, but
I've
I
I've had to
almost
get
broke
them before, but
my
they're not
wife's
terrible.
thumb, and
Hmm.
when that motherfucker stuck the needle in my knee to numb it up, I I come up, and I was getting ready to knock the damn doctor in his fucking head.
Oh man.
Well, the same doctor that stitched my knee up looks at me and my wife a few months later, and he goes, "You're pregnant." I look at him and I go, "You remember me? You put stitches in my knee." He goes, "Oh yeah, you got the stitches." And he's like, "How was that?" I'm like, "Well, it looks like the Martha Kane now from Supernatural." He's like, "Let me see." So I roll my pants up, and he's like, "Oh, that's going to be a nice little scar."
Yeah.
And well, okay. So before I ask another question, I have a little theory that's probably going to make you laugh.
Okay, shoot.
Every time before my wife gets pregnant with one of my kids,
Hmm.
something bad happens to me. I cut my knee, my son's born. I
Mm.
get sick for 4 months. I'm literally laying on my deathbed, and the doctor, she's like, "How did you make it to the hospital?" I'm like, "Ambulance." She's like, "Honey, you're so dehydrated that you was about to die."
Hmm.
And Easter of 2023, my wife woke me up and said that she was pregnant, and I got my side burnt, and no babies yet. Thank God.
You're like, so
I
far.
have
This is
two.
the third strike. It's
I'm
not gonna
like,
come.
I'm like, I don't need to, try to kill myself. Shout out to Dad. He sounds like a rad dude. My dad is a pretty cool guy. Like, he loves wrestling. He's really respectful. He loves his kids. As long as you don't piss him off, he's the nicest man that you'll ever meet. He's a hell of a mechanic. He's taught me a lot. So here's a question that I personally want to know.
Hmm.
You seem to be interested in Japanese samurai stuff. Would you like to share your interest on it?
Yeah, I'm big into like kung fu movies. Like I've been a huge nerd for that shit. Like Ninja Gaiden's like one of my favorite video game franchises of all time. Like I've just always had like an affinity for like anime, Japanese culture, stuff like that.
I
So
respect that.
yeah, and when I started doing the katana thing, it was an accident. Because I had it, so I had like just stuff sitting around, Yeah, fuck yeah, bro. Shaw Bros. Fuck yeah. No, my dude, Old
Yeah.
Mustard here knows what's up. But yeah, the I had it in my car because I was actually going to go sell it to somebody. Um, and I just had this katana laying around, and then like I just kept like I was doing matches and stuff, and then I had the match with Roar, and he I know he did the thing with the fucking machete, and I was like,
Yeah.
hey, I have this katana in my car. And he's like, oh? And I was like, yeah. How do you feel about instead of locking up, we have a sword fight? And he's like, yeah. And I
That's
was like,
actually where this fucking question come from.
yeah,
It's like I was like, I gotta ask him about this fucking katana.
yeah. The katana thing literally is just me and Roar both being like, yeah, that sounds like a great idea.
That was
So, yeah.
that was a fucking damn good idea, bro. That was a damn good
Yeah.
idea.
So now when I can, I use it as a finish, where like I put it in people's mouths and pull. That's usually like a good like to me, I think it's a like really gnarly like deathmatch visual. And
Yeah, that shit
it's
goes
some
hard as
it's
fuck.
something I can pull on anybody. Like the one where I did it to Anthrax, I was fucking gushing, and I'm like fucking slinging my head back and forth hard as fuck trying to get him to tap. And in the video, you just see my blood splattering all over the back of his head each time I fucking throw my head forward. It looks so fucking gnar, man.
I say, I can't. I don't know if it was Tremont. I don't think so. But there was one worker wrestler that you was facing, and you got. I mean, fuck the Crimson Mask. You was just leaking everywhere,
Oh
and
yeah.
I was like, "Where's the stopping point?" And I don't have it written down, but with you leaking everywhere, do you have like a blood disorder or something?
No, I just I don't know. I'm vegan. Maybe that's why I bleed so much. I don't
I don't
know.
know, but like that
I
one,
bleed a lot.
I can't remember which match it was, but she was just, oh my god, like I knew
Um,
that took some time to clean up.
was it a recent one? Because like the last one I was bleeding a lot was the 5-way from H2O Standback. Like I took a
Uh,
like a gusset like
that just was from
in the
last
sweet
year,
spot.
2024.
Yeah. So it
I,
was
I think it
like
was from 2024.
yeah, because there was that one that I was going like crazy. There was an ECH TFC show where it was me and Leroy Robinson. Where that was one of the matches where
I
like
know,
that was the most I ever
I know it
bled.
was in the H2O arena.
Yeah, so it was probably that one with it was me, Cody, Anthrax, Lady Blakely, and Jess, I think. Because that one I
That might
was
have been the one.
leaking. Yeah.
That might have been the one. Like blood was just coming down your face and onto the floor, onto
Yeah.
your body, and I'm like, this is fucking crazy.
Oh yeah.
That's the type of wrestling I like.
That one was
So,
so
who's your
bad that
favorite?
my wife actually
Go ahead.
texted my phone like multiple times to make sure I was okay after that match because of how much I
Holy
bled.
shit!
Yeah, like I get back to my phone and I'm like, please let me know you're okay. You were bleeding a ton because she's watching the stream on online from
Yeah,
home, and I'm just like, yeah, yada yada yada, and I'm like, yeah, I think I'm okay. I ate a
I think he's okay.
I ate a pack. I usually eat a pack of Sour Patch Kids right after to like shoot my fucking sugar back up, so like I don't pass
Yeah.
out or anything. But like, yeah, there was a point where I kept looking at myself and I'm like, fuck. All right, I'm bleeding a ton. Because all the blood on my wrists, like on my wrist tape, like that was just me trying to like keep my eyes clean, or like just be able to see. But like, yeah, I think I bled that entire match and didn't stop till I got outside.
So, what you? Well, there's two questions. Are you a diabetic?
No, no,
Because
not
you,
at all.
you. Oh yeah. Well, losing my fault, my stupidity. Like when you lose blood, obviously your sugar's gonna go low. So, who's your favorite like Japanese or your favorite kung fu guy? Like you know, Jackie Chan, Bruce Lee,
Oh,
uh,
uh,
Van
it
Damme.
it is a clean tie between Jackie Chan and Sonny Chiba. Those are my two. Jackie Chan's the man because like the stunts he does are unmatched. His kung fu movies are top tier. Like everything from what he did back in the 70s to everything like modern that he's done like in America. Like he's the dude as far as like I think crossover goes. And then Sonny Chiba just because he's like the original Street Fighter. Bullet Train is awesome. Executioner's awesome. The stuff he did that was like feudal Japan stuff, also really fucking bomb. So those are my two. Those are my two guys.
So, Mustard, I was in the black death metal band. Do you rock
Hell
anything
yeah.
like JP?
Yeah.
And then
And then also repping the Sunny Chiba, my guy. So I'm on and off with black metal. Like there's some black metal bands I really fuck with. Like I'm big into like Emperor. That's probably like the top one that I really fuck with. But like I like the heavy hitters. I like Mayhem. I like Dark Throne. I'm more selective with that just because of all the weird that is around black metal. But with death metal, like I fuck with a lot more death metal than I do black metal. Like big fan of Obituary, Death, more modern stuff like Fulci. I could go on for fucking ever if we're gonna talk music.
hell yeah. Uh, so what's one dream deathmatch stipulation that you want to do?
Mm, I really want to do no. I really want to do a no rope barbed wire, like bad. I really want to do a no rope barbed wire. Um,
No rope.
eh,
Oh
yeah.
fuck.
So that's on the top of my list of what I want. Then I also am a fucking dummy, and I want to do a no rope flaming barbed wire match, um, because that shit just looks fucking insane, and I really want to do that.
A flaming no rope. Is that what you said?
Yeah, flaming no rope barbed wire.
Bro, that'd be fucking cool to see you in that. Like,
Yeah,
now that I know that you like fire,
I've never done
I'm a big fan
fire.
of fire.
I've never done fire, but like if I got to do it with anybody, I want to do it with Nathan Mowry. I want to do
Fuck yeah!
yeah.
Fuck yes!
If I can do no rope barbed wire and fire, that's who I want to do it with. I want to do it with Nathan.
Fuck yes! Uh, the body, you know who the body is. I don't know how you feel about him, but
Don't like him.
I, I'm, I've always
Yeah.
been more towards fire.
Hmm.
So like growing up, I was a firebug. I think that's what they call it. And
Yeah.
I've caught my hair on fire. I've caught my actual body on fire. And my wife's like, "Why do you like fire so fucking much?" And I'll pick up a lighter and burn my hand just for the fun of it. And she's like, "You're fucking stupid."
Yeah.
And fire don't bother me. What are some of your favorite punk bands?
Oh, NoFX is number one. They're like my favorite punk band of all time. Bad Religion, number two probably. Um, then I guess for like punk, like Circle Jerks, Black Flag, Cro-Mags. Like I like a lot. Most hardcore wrestler to
Who's the
eliminate.
most hardcore wrestler you have went against? I'd probably say Tremont.
Tremont number one, yeah, like there's no question. Like Tremont and Low Life Louie are probably the two. Both of
I
them have
fucking
seen
love
some wars.
Louis.
Me too, man. And like next Saturday, not this one, but on the 15th, me and his son are getting dirty over in X Brand in Philly.
Yeah, I just seen that before you hopped on. I was like, oh,
Yeah,
there's another one I gotta watch.
we are gonna
So
stab each other a lot.
who took you to your limits? Like gave you a run for your money?
As far as like just what I was, well, I think
Who the
I
fuck
would
keeps
go.
calling?
I'd go back to Remington Roar probably, because that was like Matt didn't take it easy on me like whatsoever. But we worked within my wheelhouse, right? Roar was like a real test to kind of be like, all right, you want to do death matches? Like, cool, let's go. And I didn't expect how much my head was gonna get cut with that fucking machete. And I was like, fuck, this is rough. But I got through it, and after that I was like, yeah, I really want to fucking do these. But yeah, I would say he's the first person to like really like push me and be like, let's try this, let's try this, let's do this.
Oh
And I'm like,
yeah.
all right, cool. Then after that, I think Anthrax and Stretch have also been two guys that have like really been like, all right, push, let's do this, let's do this, let's do this, and keep adding on to what I've tried and what I've done. And then Neil too. When I wrestled Neil and Jameson Shook, that was like more of like, all right, well, like let's keep pushing it. Let's do more. Let's do more. Um, yeah, those would be the people I said have pushed me to like a limit.
I respect that. So, if you could say anything to the wrestler who made you become a wrestler, what would it be and why? Like, I guess the guy who inspired you, like, not trained you, but the guy who made you, want to be a wrestler, who you look up to when you was younger.
Um, so there's two people I would probably say something to. One would be Mick Foley, because if it wasn't,
Foley.
yeah, I got enamored by hardcore wrestling the second I saw him. Um, like I started tape trading when I was younger, trying to find like all the deathmatch shit he ever did. Cause like Cactus Jack, I thought was like the coolest fucking wrestler in the world when I was a kid. Cause I was also a fat kid too, so I like immediately gravitated towards like, hey, this guy's kind of heavy set. He's kind of like weird. He's violent as fuck. Like I'm all about this. Like I don't, I don't relate to Lex Luger, but I relate to Cactus Jack. That's how I felt in my head.
I
Um,
understand that.
so I would definitely tell him like, bro, like thank you like so much for being like a wrestler I could look up to when I was younger and I didn't see people that I felt understood me or like what I was doing at the time or what I was going through at the time. That's how I would talk to him. The second person I would say something to, and this is gonna sound really fucking weird, is Zack Ryder. um, and that is only because the original school I trained at, he was there doing their podcast, and I was helping out with some of the audio stuff. And he was talking about how like you can't the whole thing about you can't control how you're used, you can't control how people see you, and like basically just giving you his normal like rundown speech he does on his like seminars and stuff.
Oh
And he
God.
had yeah, and he had said that you can just make sure you're prepared for anything that's coming. And I had that mindset going into everything I did, and that's honestly been what's been helping me like the fucking most. With just being in like the right mindset for it. Him and Speedball Mike Bailey too. All three of those people all had a hand
I like
in.
speedball.
Yeah, Speedball, like I did two of his seminars and they were honestly the two most like eye-opening aspects of like how to understand pro wrestling. Like I had all my fundamentals figured out, but like doing two of his seminars like just made everything click and make sense.
Hell yeah.
Um, I don't know how to explain it, but if he does a seminar, you should fucking go to it because they're amazing. He has the one of the best minds for pro wrestling I've ever been around. Um,
Hell yeah.
but yeah, those would be the people I say kind things to and shake their hand. Like I've been in three different situations where I could have told Zach this in the last like 3 years, but like I just never feel like bothering him. But I'm going to at some point. Zach, I'm gonna pester you. I'm gonna walk up and be
I'm.
like, "Thanks, Chief. I'm doing this because of you."
I mean, I liked Zack Ryder, but I'm not
Mhm.
a real big fan of this Matt Cordona shit.
Yeah,
um, I mean, I like him, but I never could really click behind him.
yeah.
He's got good work, so I can't shit on him
Hmm.
for that. I guess it's more towards like I don't know, like he he's just something else that you're not used to.
Yeah, I think it's
So
more his mindset and mentality of wrestling is
that's
what I
probably what it
respect.
is.
Yeah, because it's like it is helpful because it does suck when you're like when you are in like a bubble and people don't respect you or think that you're worth being on their stage, then just go find a stage that people want you on and go fucking
Yeah, yeah,
like you don't need to kill like this is the thing that I hate about wrestling sometimes is people want to kill themselves to earn the respect of people that will never respect them. And they're also breaking their backs for people that they don't even necessarily respect, and you're just burning your gears and burning out, and that's how you become a bitter 40 miler. So just like go go figure it out, go where you're happy. Like earn the
that's true.
respect of people you respect, and then you'll feel way more fulfilled by what you do.
So, what would you say your wrestling style is?
I think it's definitely more on the brawler side of things. Like I'm not a big flashy move guy. I slam people and I punch people and I headbutt people. So I definitely feel like I'm more on like the brawler end of wrestling. I try to
I
add a little
understand.
bit of flashy shit here and there, but not much.
Who was the first person you ever wrestled?
So the first singles match I ever had was with at the time he was named Live Action Luke, but he is now LDJ. He's one of Colby Carino's students. I think he still trains with Colby Carino down in
No,
AML.
I know that.
But yeah, he was my first singles match. I wrestled him in DCW in Delaware in like February of 2022. That was my first singles match. It was 5 minutes, and I got three cool spots in, and then he beat my ass.
So, is there anything you would like to plug? Upcoming shows, promos, social media, etc.
Holy cannoli, yeah. So, I got a lot going on. Sunday in Havre de Grace, Maryland, me and Anthrax are having contract signing for this company's first unsanctioned match. It's FWA, Federated Wrestling Alliance. That's at the State Theater in Havre de Grace on Sunday, February 2nd. Then after that, H2O's Hardcore Kingdom 7, or sorry, Hardcore Kingdom 8, my bad, is the H2O Center. It's, what is it? Tag Team Deathmatch Tournament.
Yeah, it's the tag team tournament, I think.
Yeah, Snack Pack's in there representing. We're doing it for the shorties. Um, then, fuck, what's after that? The week after that is X Brand, me and Louis Jr. Week after that is fucking H2O. Like, I'm pretty much booked up through all of February and March. So if you keep an eye on my socials, which is Violent Breed JBA on everything, you'll be able to keep up with where I'm at and what I'm doing.
All right. If a new fan is coming to check you out, what match would you tell them to watch first?
I would have them watch me and Low Life Louie. I think that is the match that kind of like made. That's an important match to me for a lot of reasons. One, it's the first time I ever had a crowd cheer for me that much, and I was like completely taken aback by it in the moment because I was like, "Oh shit, people care now." So now I have to perform in a way that shows them that I'm appreciative of what they care about and give them a reason to keep coming to see me, you know? So like that shifted my entire mindset, and you can see that kind of click when the match is starting. And to me, I think me and Low Life Louie was like the make or break match for me to start doing death matches.
I'd say Louie or Tremont for me.
Yeah, those both are important matches. Like the only reason I would put Louis above the one with me and Matt, because me and Matt was like the first one. Um,
Yeah.
that was like I just think the crowd energy and the I just think like everything leading up to the match at Cage of Hell was um like a better story being told at the time. That's the only reason I go with that one over me and Killdozer, because I think Killdozer and me, like I was like the whole story was I need to bring the bulldozer back and I'm gonna be the one to fucking do it. And boy, did I get my ass kicked. That didn't happen. um, but damn it, I tried. I was the first to try. I am the first singles match that the Killdozer had in the H2O building, so I have that to hang my
Yeah.
hat on.
So, what's your favorite shit? What's your favorite retro video game and system?
Ooh, this will probably be a shock to most people, but Super Mario World on the Super Nintendo is my favorite retro game of all time.
Oh shit!
I have that game on so many different things, so I can play that game until I'm like 100 years old. It's my
I
favorite.
fucking love Mario.
Yeah, Super Mario World. Like I got a Super Nintendo when I was like 6 or 7, and like all I had was Super Mario World for like the longest time, and it's all I played. I did like 100%ed it. I did the fucking Secret World, replayed it in the Secret World mode. Like I know that game like the back of my hand. I even was training for like breaking the world record speed run on it until I found out that the uh world record that's Like I guess like the main one is a key assisted PC port version of it where they're gonna get certain things faster than you can on an actual console with a controller.
Yeah.
So when I saw that, I was like, not even gonna try anymore. Fuck it. If that's the recognized fucking record, like, nah, I'm good. I'm not gonna kill
I
myself trying
think
to do this.
you don't seem that old though.
Dude, like I'm about to be 38, so like that's the thing that's like
Dude,
fucking
what?
wild. Yeah, yeah. I got in the game real late.
How the how the fuck are you 38? You look like you're 28, bro, or 30 at the most.
Being vegan gives us superpowers. I don't know what to tell you.
Bro, I
Yeah.
thought you, because I'm 25, I thought you was
Hmm.
around my age.
Nah, bro, I'm old.
What the fuck? I that just blew my fucking mind.
That's why I push
I
people to
was
tell them, like, man, like, fucking. I know people get hung up on like, oh, I'm getting old, I can't do X, Y, and Z. Like, fuck that shit. I'm a representation of age is like not a deciding factor, and if you want to achieve something you want to do, fuck that shit. Push it and fucking do what you want to do. You know, like,
I, that's just mind blowing. I mean,
yeah.
fuck.
I'm gonna hit.
So
I'm gonna hit 5 years in wrestling by the time I turn 40, which is weird.
I mean, like, well, what you saying that? Where do you see your career in 5 years?
In 5 years, I'm hoping that I've at least gotten out of the country, and that I've knocked a couple names off my to do list. And ultimately, I just want to be like, I want to be happy doing what I'm doing, and I don't want to
Yeah.
be looking back on any of this time as like regrettable or wasted or anything like that. I just really want like my whole goal in wrestling is to enjoy the ride and go where it takes me, and like not really be disappointed by it because I haven't been. Like the last year has been like probably the most rewarding thing I've put all my energy into since like I started like my first band in like 2004. So like I've had like a 20-year span between then and now feeling that rewarded by the work I'm putting in.
Respect that.
Yep.
Are you? Do you have plans to be like Necro or Pondo? In your 50s and still wrestling?
If I'm physically able to do it and I'm able to still put on like matches that people want to see, yeah. Like my goal
Fuck
is
yes.
yeah, my goal is basically like as long as I can do this, I'm going to. As long as people care, I'll keep coming out. So
Fuck
when I
yes.
know my time's up, like it's the same thing I did with certain bands I've been in. When I realize that like the magic's gone, you don't force it anymore. You just go like, you know what? It's cool. You enjoyed that. Now we start something new, and if you start something new and people have the same energy for it or new energy that's like revamped, then you roll with that, and that's just kind of how things cycle. So that's how I feel with wrestling.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of like the older wrestlers are still getting down in it, like Necro,
Mm.
Pondo, Masada. I'm
Yeah.
a big fan of the older wrestlers. No offense to the newer ones, like I like you and stuff, but
Hmm.
I like the ones that's been in it a while, and then they're bringing in the newer guys, Blue even Tremont, breaking in the newer
Hmm.
ones, and then the newer ones, age into wrestling, and I'm all about older stuff. So what makes Home Alone 2 your favorite?
Oh man, so Home Alone 2, hands down, it is like it's full speed slapstick, and it's like a live action Looney Tunes cartoon. Like Marv dies like should be dead like 30 sometimes in that movie. Um it takes the absurd bullshit from Home Alone 1 and just ramps it the fuck up. Like Home Alone 2 is like top 3 movie of all time for me.
I've seen 1, 2, and 3. I have not seen 4, 5, and 6
Nah, we don't even acknowledge it. Home Alone stopped at 2. Home Alone 1, Home Alone 2, that's it. Third one, I don't care what anybody says. Nah, ain't even gonna. I watched it one time and I was not vibing.
I think the main star of that damn movie is the bird.
Yeah, yeah. Like the bird, maybe
I
French Stewart. Like French Stewart's hilarious in that movie, but
Other
they,
than that, I'm more like you are. I'm a second Home Alone person.
yeah.
So what is your hobbies out of the ring?
Outside of the ring, I do play video games quite a bit. I do graphic design. So like I'm just making shit just for the sake of making it. Like all of except for like a few of the designs that like I've done for merch, like I make myself. Um,
Oh, fuck.
yeah, so like all that stuff's coming right out of here and just doing it on my computer.
That's
You
cool
know,
as fuck.
I do video editing. I build like model Gundams. Like I got a couple back here. Trying to think of what
That's cool as
else.
shit.
I got a lot of hobbies. Like I like to keep myself busy. I do shit with my dogs. My partner is a dog trainer, so I get to like hang out with dogs like a lot of the time.
I feel that I like spending time with the little ones. I have two little kids. Well, a
Nice.
5-year-old and a 14 or yeah, 13 month old or 14-month old.
Hmm.
She's a year and 2 months old. So yeah, 14-month old. I like gaming. I play on PS4. I want a PS5, but
It took me a while to get one. Like I didn't get one until
yeah,
like last year because I was like, if I
my
can walk
buddy.
into a store and just buy one, because I went crazy trying to buy one online back when it was like super hot and just failed miserably. But by the time I got to, I think like I had money from like a couple of bookings that were like pretty good, and it was just sitting there, and I'm like, if I walk into Target and that motherfucker's there, I'm buying it. So that's kind of where I was.
I mean, like every time I go to get one,
Mhm.
I have to either take care of. I'm more towards my family, so I'm like, I'll
Yeah.
put the PS5 on the back burner, take care of the family first. Um, so hopefully the new house, even though it's fucking 1,500,
It's
I'll
pretty good.
manage.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, you can't beat it for fuck, dude. It's like you can convert it into like a 6-bedroom house, and it's got two full bathrooms. So I'm like, better than the one I'm living in, a two
Yeah.
bedroom, fucking 1250. So
Upgrade's an upgrade,
I'm like,
man.
fuck it.
Because
And
think of it,
plus,
that space you can use for like a studio. It's stuff for, like you said, you got like a couple kids. They can all eventually like you grow into the place. They got individual rooms. Like it
exactly.
sounds like a better setup.
And this house is running down, but I had to take what I had to take for my kids when I first moved
Hmm.
in, and you have to go through one room to go to my room to go to the kitchen, and I'm like, how the fuck am I supposed to do interviews in my new house that I got? The laundry room, I can section off the laundry room because it's so damn big and make it
Yeah.
into a studio. And
There you go.
or I can take my room because it leads into like a not a laundry room, but like a mud room or a storage room or whatever. And I'm like, I'll
Hmm.
section that off.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's
There's all
so
types of
so
options.
many places that I can be happy in.
Yeah.
Um, so will you say the katana and the electric knife thing is your gimmick weapon?
I think those are like my two like if we were talking like special moves, I think those are my two big ones. But like I don't know if you noticed lately, I've been using like dead media a lot. Like I've been using like VHSs and fucking like VCRs and Nintendos and shit like that. I've also been pretty keen to using carpet strip contraptions a lot lately. And I know that
Yeah.
like the regular thing I hear is that a lot of people don't like using carpet strips because they feel like it doesn't, you know, give a lot of bang for your buck. So I guess like as a deathmatch fan, how do you feel about when you see carpet strips used in a match?
I mean, I like them. I like them when they actually stick or
Yeah,
when they get broken. Like if a tree might hit you with a thing and it breaks and it gets stuck to you,
right.
I'm okay with it. But if you just swing the damn thing and I'm more towards the carpet strips than I am the water jugs. I cannot
Yeah.
stand the fucking water jugs.
Those things
And
fucking hurt though. I'm not gonna lie. The water
if
jugs suck.
if they're done right, then I like the water jugs.
Right.
But the thing about it is, if somebody makes a water jug, and I know
Hmm.
you being a worker, you've seen it a million times.
Yeah.
They they get 2 or 3 good whacks, and then the fucking jug goes off into the pan somewheres, and I'm like,
That shit's hilarious every time it
what's
happens. I'm
what's
not
the
gonna lie.
sense in it?
Um
And
yeah.
same thing for the carpet strips. Like I've
Hmm.
seen them go flying through the venue, and I'm like,
Yeah.
although I've seen people get fucking demolished with carpet strips, like
Yeah.
like when they made that big old like circle thing, and like what I'm talking about, right?
with the
Like a
strips.
bunch of them's put together, and there's like the big old circle,
Oh
and
yeah, yeah,
sometimes
yeah.
there's
Like
light tubes or
like the
whatever.
cylinder.
Yeah, the cylinder.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
like
yeah,
that. But
yeah. Because those I've been making a little bit more often. I've been trying to make
as
like
far as
the
just using like
towers.
one or two,
Mm-hmm.
I really don't get behind it because like they
Mm-hmm.
break too easy.
Right.
Well, in your point of view, they don't because they fucking hurt.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm more of the one that likes color. So,
Yeah.
uh, if it's done right, you can get color out of it.
Yeah.
But
I've
I'm
slid
not
on them
really.
once or twice, and they've definitely cut me up pretty bad.
I, I'm more towards like if they're used the right way. Like I've seen you
Mm,
use them the right way, then I'm
yeah.
okay with it. But
Mm,
if they're just there and you're just smacking the shit out of somebody, I'm like, it's just gonna break, and then you're gonna be stuck
yeah.
with two wooden pieces.
Because my goal with them is like I want to make them like a viable like dangerous deathmatch weapon again. Because like to me, I feel like they're underappreciated because I don't think like I know people use them the right way, and I know that like I can make them a dangerous weapon again by the way I want to use them. Because we're gonna run out of tubes eventually, right? So we need
Yeah,
something
yeah.
else that's gonna be equally dangerous or equally violent. So just stay tuned. I have some fucking things planned.
How do you feel about the light tubes? I mean, like, you feel like they're overused or underused?
I've only really used tubes like a handful of times. Like I've used, let's see, I think I've used tubes in 4 matches. That's it. Like I didn't get to start using tubes until like I think I went and wrestled in Connecticut, and the only glass we had was a pane, and then all of a sudden Hardcore shows up with like 4 boxes of fucking tubes, and he's like, I can't take them all home, so you guys need to use them. And I'm like, okay. And that was my first time ever using tubes, was because someone was like, they just need to be gone, and I'm like, all right, fuck it. Um, but typically I don't think I need them to have a brutal match.
Thank you.
Um,
Thank you.
yeah, if they're there, they're there. But like, I've been on shows where like every match is glass, and it's like it's it wears off by the time we get to the main, and those guys have to work 3 times as hard to get the same reaction out of something that we've been using all night. So I'm a big fan of shows that have layered and stacked hardcore and death matches, and then things escalating to the most dangerous shit at the end. That's me.
I mean, I like I like light tubes, but they're
Mm-hmm.
overused. And
Mm-hmm.
no offense to anybody that uses them, they're just
Yeah,
overused.
I
And
I don't have a problem with people that feel the need to use them, or people that think that they enhance a death match. Like if you feel like it's a part of what you do and a part of what you need to do, then by all means go for it. Like it's your story
yeah,
you're telling. It's your picture you're painting. But like I use them when I think they're necessary, and I use them when like I have like a good idea for them. Because I mean, I don't like just swinging them constantly. If it calls for it, it calls for it. Like me and Anthrax used them when we had our best of 3, and it was how we ended our third match. That was the first time we ever used tubes against each other. Was at the very end of our trio of matches. Um, so that's what I prefer to do. I prefer to save them for like a feud blow off, or like let's make something extra dangerous. You know?
I like light tubes, like I was saying. But once they phase out, I think it was Eric Ryan who brought in it was Eric Ryan, the terracotta pots, whatever.
Oh yeah.
And those damn things will do more damage than a light tube, in my
Mm-hmm.
opinion.
Yeah.
I've actually taken a light tube when I got to 100 subs. They hurt, but they're just so. I've noticed that a lot of workers use light tubes and they're taking the meaning out of it. When a light tube is meant to be used, then use it by all means. But you have I've interviewed people and they're like, what's the sense of taking a light tube and cutting yourself? You're taking you know, the whatever out of the weapon, the gimmick
Mm-hmm.
out of the weapon or whatever. And I'm like, that's true. Why, if it's made to be this scary weapon to hurt, why are you cutting on yourself? Why are you eating them?
Yeah. Yeah,
But
because
I just say
you're taking the danger away from it if you're like welcoming the danger, I guess.
exactly. Someone finally agrees one and two are better than the other, and the only ones the others don't exist.
Absolutely. I am a man
You
of taste. That's what it is. Into
you into
anime.
anime? If so, got a favorite. Canobots was awesome back in the day, by the way.
Let's see. Anime. So top animes for me, Cowboy Bebop, fucking what is it? Gundam, like first series of Gundam. And what's the other one? Fooly Cooly, also really good. I'm trying to think what else. There's some other ones I really like. City Hunter, really good.
You
Um,
had Dragon Ball Z.
yeah, huge Dragon Ball Z fan.
Love Dragon Ball
Um,
Z.
yeah, I think I got I got a Vegeta back here in my stack of builds.
That's
Um,
cool.
yeah, that and it's a weird mix. It's like that Gundams, wrestling figures, two ICP figures. Like
Hell yeah.
it's a mix over here. um, but yeah, those are some of my favorite animes. If I have to go to them, if I got to go to the well, Trigun 2, also really good.
I love the water jugs, especially when I see
Oh,
the wrestler's head bounce
they
off of it.
brother, they hurt. I'm not gonna lie. I've had my eggs
I've seen a
scrambled from taking one to the head.
was it TOD or Carnage Cup? It might have been King of the Death matches. I seen one literally get wrestler hit somebody so hard that the jug broke and it went in their
Yeah,
like the jug went in their head. And like I said, if they're done correctly, I don't mind them. But if not, you get two or three good whacks, and Tremont will be the one to tell you they'll fly off if they're not done right. And I'm like, what the fuck was the sense of making it?
yeah. There was an ICW that I did crew for where I saw someone fucking swing him hard, and like the end of it like did go into the crowd, and I just remember like watching it go, and I'm just sitting there laughing. I'm like, oh, there it goes.
It was King of the Death match. Is that what it was? What it was? Went back
That
when
was the one
Ian
you
done
saw,
it,
yeah.
and it literally went off, and it's on IWTV. I think it was 18. Help me
Hmm.
here, Jr. Maybe 20, right before Ian quit, and this damn thing goes up and it spirals and just goes out in the crowd. Now, Carnage Cup was my first. 14 was my first ever live show,
Okay.
and it was Neil Diamond Cutter and Kato. And this light tube,
That's
it
awesome.
broke,
Hmm.
and it went up in the air, and it started spiraling, and it
Hmm.
lands like right in the ground. The pointy part went right into the ground, and
Yeah.
it went a good distance. And I'm like, holy fuck!
I being ringside for a lot of the ICWs and a lot of the H2O shows. Like they've been, I've had some close calls with tubes flying my way. Where like I'm a lot more aware of like what to pay attention to when I'm in the crowd. It's just sometimes like you just don't know. They're just fucking they're swinging and they're flying towards you.
Yeah. So, what's your thoughts on Tremont closing the doors to H2O?
I mean, he isn't closing anything as far as I know yet. You know, those are one of those things where once he decides it's done, it's done. But as right now, like we're still rocking and rolling.
Or
We got
I
four
guess you would
shows
sort of
coming up.
say moving or whatever he's going to do, like I know that he's wanting to do something with the H2O arena, and is he like moving it, or is he just wanting to close the doors, or can you
I
share
mean,
his?
that's some things that you know, I don't want to get misconstrued by what Matt wants to do. So like that's something that like you got to ask him. So
Okay, so
cuz
like I
yeah.
didn't know if he was like closing, like I knew that he wanted to get out of Jersey, but
Mhm.
I didn't know if he was like actually shutting down H2O or moving it or what his plans was to do with H2O because I'm a big H2O person.
Yeah,
I've liked
yeah.
it,
I mean,
and
H2O
he
is like literally like my home. Like I that's my home promotion. If you have to ask me what is my home promotion, it's H2O. Like I love that fucking company. And I know it means a lot to a lot of people. So like I don't see it going anywhere as far as I know.
uh 2021 King of the Death matches is what it was.
Okay, bet.
Who would you say is your biggest rival to date?
Biggest rival to date. Probably the home promotion, the promotion in Maryland I have heat with. No, I'm kidding. No, biggest rival. Like I think like the best series of matches I've had is probably me and Anthrax. I feel like as time goes by, me and him are gonna wrestle each other a shitload over the next couple years. Um, like I can wrestle him with my eyes closed now at this point. He's one of my favorite people to wrestle. He was like the first match I had in H2O was against him. Um, all of my matches that have like escalated in violence have been with him. And me and him just have a very similar mindset of what we want to tell and what we want to do. And that's one of the reasons like, I wanted to bring him into Maryland to help me kind of create this hardcore scene in the Maryland area, because of our really strict sports commission. We can only do so much, and I know that
Yeah.
you need to be creative as shit in order to make it compelling here. And I know he's one of the people that is like, I think he's overlooked a lot of the time, but he is a very creative hardcore and deathmatch wrestler, and just a
I'm
wrestler
gonna
in
have to bring
general.
Anthrax on.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
so this is the part where we normally do what we call shoot style, baby. So
Okay.
anything that you want to say, if you want to, shoot on anybody, you want to whatever, it's all on the table. You can say, do whatever. We got a lot of promoters that watch the channel, a lot of workers. I know Del Patrick watches the channel,
Hmm.
so you're free to do whatever.
Um, damn, I don't really like shooting on people because
I
like
respect that.
I'm just not like I don't think heat is like good to have in a negative way. Like if it helps, it helps, but like I think a lot of people just kind of put their foot in their mouths, and I'm trying to not be one of those people.
That's true.
I
That's true.
appreciate the platform to be able to be like, hey, fuck you, motherfucker. Like, trust me, that's cool. I'm glad you do that. I think the only thing that I would shoot on is like there's fans that want to see me in the chains, and it's one of the one places that I have not been able to get my foot in. My foot's in the door with helping out and like being a bocce boy and doing shit with Hammer, but like my goal is to wrestle in the fucking chains, and I'm going to wrestle in the fucking chains. So there's people that are behind me. There's people that want me to see me in there, and it's gonna happen at some point. So if I had to get any pew pews going off, that would be it. Like it's gonna fucking happen sooner rather than later.
I'm gonna get fucking that. Me and Danny's cool, but he likes saying that I don't have no common sense. And I made the joke of deathmatch elite. I said I learned it from Chondo.
Oh yeah, that's facts. um, no, like I like Danny. I think he's an alright dude. And I if I'm given that playground to fucking run in, like I will make some special moments for ICW and myself and whoever it is I'm working with. I know that for a
So
fact.
I've heard Danny watches the channel. So
Hmm.
Danny, you're a man that gives the fans what they want. Obviously, the fans is want JB in the chains, so bring him in there. And do you have any questions or anything for me?
Sure. How long? So I went back and looked at some of the people you have had on. You've had like Pondo on. I think I saw you had
Mhm.
Gage. Like you've had like a
No,
fucking
I
oh
haven't
not
had
Gage. My
Gage. I've
bad. My
had
bad.
yeah. Go
So
ahead.
I thought I saw him. My bad. But I've seen that you've had guys like with like big names on here. Like
Mhm.
how has that helped your channel grow? And like how
Um,
long have you been doing this?
well, I've been doing it since 2022, I think, and
Okay.
then the end of 2022 actually, and then 2023 was strictly like promote reviews, updates, everything like that, prediction videos and shit. And 2024 is when it really took off. And
Hmm.
I noticed that after an interview, I normally gain a few subs, and I have a Japanese translator, and I'm like, well, why stay in the states when I know all these workers
Hmm.
and I can give them a platform to speak. So I
Hmm.
was like, let's go, across the country. Let's go to here. Let's go there. And I've learned so much. I mean, like I've had Mr. Danger on here, Takeda,
Yeah.
um, I've had Masada, Madman Pondo, Necro Butcher, and I've learned so much from the workers, and it's helped the channel because I'm one of those guys, and I've heard from plenty of workers that I ask questions that either nobody thinks to ask or
Mhm.
somebody's too scared to ask. So when I interview somebody, I'm in like my world. I'm in like my
Mhm.
thing. Like when a wrestler gets into the ring, he's in his little, own little world. He's not
Right.
his shoot person. He's, when you get in the ring, you're not your shoot, you're JB.
Mhm.
So when I get into my channel, I'm not Chris Kyle, I'm Skinny Moose. So I've always wanted to do something with the wrestling, and
Mhm.
I know I've had people like, you're in it for the attention, you're in it for the fame, and I'm like, no, I'm not in it for the money, I'm not in it for the fame, I'm not in it for whatever. I'm in it for the experience. I'm in it
Yeah.
to interact with the guys and the girls and to actually sit down and the stories. Like I'm a big old sponge when it comes to wrestling. So
Mhm.
what you just told me, like I suck it all up and put it together. Like I'm not one to, oh well, let's make 500 subs and start making money.
Right.
Um, I love all my fans and I appreciate it, but I'm in it for the fans to get hear what the workers has got to say, and also I love interacting with all of the wrestlers that give me a chance.
Mhm.
I try to make my channel fun, not just for me, but for the worker too. I try to throw in laughs. I try to entertain them. Uh, when they come onto the channel, I don't want them, even though they're a wrestler, I want them to know that here's where they can relax. Here's where they can chill and speak their mind. They can be whatever they want to be.
Mhm.
You know, they've had a bad day at work. They can look forward to this interview. They can look forward to somebody to chill out with and actually listen to them. And I know there's some podcasters that's like, well, I'm going to interview you because I want to, but we're not going to talk about what you want to talk about. We're going to talk about what I want to talk about. I'm not
Yeah.
like that. Like, I'm the one that, like, fuck me. Let's hear you. You've entertained me.
Right.
So let me get you face to face and you tell me what you want me to hear.
Mhm.
And that's what all the channel's all about. And
Yeah. No, it's definitely a fun channel.
everybody's,
Like I've had fun with the interviews so far, so it's been like you've been asking questions that like I don't think people typically do. And like it was cool to not just be like just wrestling because there's a lot of podcasts I've done where it's like very wrestling and it's cool to like be able to kind of branch out from that a little bit. I keep hitting my fucking microphone.
and I've had so many workers hit me up, be like, "Hey, can I get a part two with you?" And I'm like, "Sure, why not? I'm here for it. Like,
Hell
if you
yeah.
ever want a part two, I'm always available. Well, here in the next couple of days, I'll be moving, thank God. But once I'm situated and shit, I would love
Yeah.
to have you back on if you want to come back on.
Yeah, I'd be down to
Uh,
come back.
I'm all about it's a wrestling channel, but I try to incorporate it, some of the ring stuff. So like I know you wrestle, so I don't want to make it all about wrestling.
Mhm.
You have a life, so you probably want to share some of your stories outside of the ring. So where
Yeah.
is it my place to sit there and be like, well, what'd you do in this match? I want you to feel like, I actually care, which I do care about all the
Mhm.
wrestlers.
Yeah.
And I, I won't lie, I'm a Baptist. I'm a Southern Baptist. So when I watch wrestling, I pray that all these workers, come out healthy and shit. And I'm not one to sit there and, well, this is about me. It's my channel. I want to do what I want to do. No, no, no.
Mhm.
It's you're taking your time out of your day to sit down for an hour and a half, 2 hours, and you're telling me your stories. So where am I not to let you speak on what you want to?
Yeah, that's fair.
And, you know, there's so many podcasts, and this is one reason why I don't watch other people is because, like, I do my own thing.
Right.
And I've watched so many podcasts be like, well, I'm going to ask you this and ask you this. And then the wrestlers, like, I don't even have fun. Like, no, I want it to
Yeah.
be like where they come on, they may have a bad day, but by the end of the interview, they're like, that totally changed my day. And that's what I'm all about is making the wrestler, trying to entertain them, like they entertain me.
That's fair. That's good.
You got any more questions?
Okay. Last one. I got one more. I was just
Okay.
thinking of off the top of my head. So as someone who watches death matches, what is something that you want to see more out of us, I guess, or just as far as like deathmatch wrestling as a whole?
Well, if it's a worker and they're okay with it, I'm really big on fire.
Mm-hmm.
As long as they don't get hurt.
Yeah.
If they're okay with fire, like Hoodfoot and Nathan Mallory, love
Oh,
the fire
so
scene.
good. So such a good spot.
Um, I'm more towards like I want to see more deathmatch contraptions. I want to see more shit that we don't see. We see a lot of light tubes and barbed wire
Mm-hmm.
and the tables and the barbed wire tables and the barbed
Mm-hmm.
wire doors. But I want to see more shit that we don't see on a daily basis, like you with the
Yeah.
katana and you
Mm-hmm.
with the electric knife. That's something that you really don't see.
Yeah.
Or, I want more stuff that we don't have normally.
Mm-hmm.
And when Tremont switched it up from Tremont to the Bulldozer, I like that. I
Mm-hmm.
like the casket matches. I like a deathmatch casket match. Well,
Mm-hmm.
I call it a deathmatch casket match.
Yeah.
Um, I like the no ropes. I like the fire. I like stuff that would most people would be like, I'm not really into that match. I'm the one that's into it.
Mm-hmm.
So like Sabu and the Sheik, when the Sheik got or yeah, the Sheik I think got burned most of his body. I felt bad for him, which I was too young, but I ran
Mm-hmm.
it back and I feel bad for him, but I enjoyed it. So that's me.
Yeah. So you like more of the unpredictable danger of
Yeah,
what could happen, and you're
yeah,
just glad that we all make it out okay.
yeah. As long
Yeah.
as
Yeah. Yeah.
as long as you're okay at the end of the
Yeah.
day, then it was a damn good death match.
Yeah, and I mean I feel that too because like I'm big into like creativity contraptions like just weird shit right because like when I'm on a show and I'm doing a death match I want my match to stand out like more than anybody right and if I can't do that by my wrestling ability I can usually do it by my creativity and like what was it me and Mikey Anarchy right like we wrestled each other on a show and I'm like I don't know what I'm gonna do, but I know that like it's an all death match card, pretty much. What am I gonna do to stand out? So I brought a fucking cross made of gussets. And I was like,
Oh,
that I'm gonna carry that fucker out to the ring, and I don't know what I'm gonna do with it, but I'm gonna do something. I brought that. I brought a little fucking like little grabber hand that I ended up using to grab his dick and twist it, and I fucking flipped him.
fuck yeah, I
Just
like
something
that.
something stupid. And then what was it? There was something else I used in that match. So, oh, so from the cross I made, I had a little bit of extra wood that like I didn't know what to do with. So do you remember that show Ed, Ed and Eddie, the cartoon?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So the little piece of wood I had left, I drew on it and made Plank. So Plank had his first ever death match. He was involved in the match with me and fucking Anarchy, and I started beating him with this fucking thing like mercilessly. And by the end of it, Plank's doused in blood. Like he's covered in my blood, covered in fucking Anarchy's blood. And it's just like a dumb thing that like you're not used to seeing, right? So that's kind of what I try to do. I try to bring stuff to matches that will stand out and things that are just kind of like off the wall. Like when we used Kyle the Skeleton in fucking H2O. Like that was literally
Yeah.
just a dumb idea me and Anthrax had where we were like, yo, we should put because we had four boards in the match and we were like, what if we took one like what if we got like one of those Halloween skeletons and like torture racked it on one of the fucking boards, wrap it in barbed wire and throw each other through it. Then we found out Michael Caden couldn't come for that four way, and then we were like, well, what if we just weekend at Bernie's this skeleton and pretend he's the fourth person in the match? And then it ended up being
See,
like legit one of my favorite fucking matches I've had because it was just so silly.
see, that's what I'm into is like the weird gimmicks and the weird weapons
Yeah,
and the creativity.
yeah,
But I thank you for your time, and I'll
for
definitely get a
sure.
part two with you.